Engine braking is when you let off the throttle to slow down, and downshifting amplifies it. You keep your foot off the throttle and shift to a lower gear, say from 5th to 3rd, and your car starts to slow down. Well, why you clicked on this video and what you all want to know is it dangerous to engine brake? Short answer, no. To put it into perspective, accelerating at high RPM is worse for your engine than spinning at high RPM with no load, aka engine braking, which goes to show it's completely safe as long as you don't excessively redline it or money shift. If you don't care to know why it slows your car down and why it's safe, you can just click off this video now. But if you want to know, here's why for gasoline engines. I'll cover diesels at the end. With gasoline engines, two forces work to slow your engine down when it's inside your car. Number one, drivetrain resistance, which includes compression and mechanical friction. And number two, vacuum pumping losses. Comment down below which one you think has the most impact on engine braking, but let's begin. With vacuum pumping losses, remember how your engine is an air pump? Well, what happens when you shut off the air supply? What happens if you put your hand over the back of a blow dryer? It pulls a vacuum, which is negative pressure. Now imagine you have a piston moving down trying to pull in a ton of air, and there's barely any air to pull because the throttle is blocking most of it. It can't move down as easily, so it loses energy, like you have invisible hands pulling the piston to stop it from going down. It's like trying to pull back a syringe while mostly blocking the inlet hole. The second force is drivetrain resistance. Remember how your engine needs to overcome the weight of the car, rolling resistance, and inertia to move it? This is why it uses a transmission that multiplies torque via gear reduction until you're in a high enough gear that momentum overcomes most resistance and you can cruise without much torque multiplication. Well, what if you take away the fuel from your engine while it's running? You take away its power to move the car to overcome that force. But since it's still in gear, the engine is being back driven by the wheels, which keeps the RPMs up and the crankshaft rotating. Now, the car naturally slows down because of all the resistances in the drivetrain, and this also slows the crankshaft since the car is actively spinning it through the gearbox. At this point, I've covered gasoline engines and why it's safe to engine brake. Let's talk about diesels. Diesels that haven't been castrated by emissions equipment are so much simpler, and unfortunately, they do have some more complications, but this does still apply to them. Vacuum pumping basically goes out the window since most of them don't have throttle plates, so it just doesn't apply. Engine braking on diesels is much weaker because of that. But semi-trucks and other diesels get around this two ways: jake braking and exhaust braking. Jake braking is when you open the exhaust valve at the end of the compression stroke, which lets out a super loud pressurized rush of air, which is why on deceleration semi-trucks sound like machine guns. But exhaust braking increases back pressure using a valve to restrict exhaust flow, so it takes a lot of force for the piston to push the exhaust gases out. This increases resistance in the exhaust stroke, and the leftover inert gas in the cylinder makes the cycle harder to spin. This is a quieter solution, but it doesn't sound as good. Like this video if you enjoyed, comment down below which force you think does most of the work, and subscribe for more accurate and concise technical breakdowns like this one. Thanks for watching.